Oh my gosh, these nails are beautiful.
They come here for beauty, but I send them home with something that never fades.
The moment they close their eyes, I smile because their countdown has begun.
Every client left her salon with nails looking perfect.
Thank you.
Until perfection started dying. Her name was Elene, the nail tech with the golden touch and a secret that could kill. They say every nail in Lagos tells a story of love, heartbreak, and survival. But none shone brighter than those done by Elene, the woman everyone called the Miracle Hands.
This place
Elene wasn't just a nail tech.
Amazing.
She was an artist. Her clients came from all corners of the city, influencers, brides, bankers, even celebrities who trusted only her touch. Her salon in Lekki was always filled with laughter, music, and the sweet scent of acetone and polish. But beneath that laughter, beneath those perfectly painted smiles, there was something else, something darker growing inside her, quiet like poison, patient like time. It all began the night the rain wouldn't stop. Elene had closed the shop late, alone. The city was flooded, taxis scarce, her staff gone home hours ago. As she locked the glass door, she heard a crash from the back room, the small storage where she kept her nail kits and cleaning tools. Inside, the light flickered. A jar of acetone had fallen, and shards of glass glittered on the floor. She bent to pick them up, careful, but one sharp piece sliced through her glove and into her palm. Blood. She hissed, wiping it quickly with tissue. But it wouldn't stop. She pressed harder, muttering, "Oh, see bad luck tonight." The wound seemed minor, until the next day when her hand began to swell. She ignored it at first, continued walking. But the pain spread, deep and strange, until she couldn't hold her nail drill anymore. Her clients noticed her trembling hands. "Madam Elene, you sure you dey okay?" one asked. She forced a smile. "No small cut, it go heal." But it didn't. 2 weeks later, after several hospital visits, blood tests, and long nights of fear, Elene sat in a cold doctor's office and heard words that froze her heart. "It's a rare blood condition," the doctor said. "Severe, progressive, and terminal." "I'm sorry." She didn't understand at first. "Terminal." The doctor sighed. "We can manage the symptoms for a while, but it's incurable." She laughed softly, hoping it was a joke. But when she looked at his face, she saw no mercy. Only pity. Something inside her broke that day. She walked out into the Lagos sun, feeling the world move on without her. Cars honked, people shouted, life buzzed around, and she felt invisible. Forgotten. Elene stopped eating for days. Her shop stayed closed. Her friends called, clients texted, but she didn't answer. Until her younger sister, Tommy, came banging at her door. "Elene, open this door.
Elene,
You won't kill yourself there." When she finally opened, Tommy gasped. "Ahoy, you look like ghost." "What happened?" Elene forced a smile, tears hiding behind it. "Nothing. I just stayed tired." Tommy wasn't convinced, but she stayed, cooking, cleaning, trying to bring life back to the woman who once carried the city's glow on her fingertips. Elene tried to return to work after a month of silence. She told herself she would act normal, pretend everything was fine. Pretend she wasn't dying. The salon looked the same, bright pink curtains, the gold mirror, the rows of polished bottles lined up like soldiers. But something in the air had changed. The scent of acetone felt sharper, the music too loud, and every laugh from her clients stung her like a reminder of what she was losing. She used to love hearing their stories, about weddings, heartbreaks, new jobs, and Lagos traffic. But now their words sounded distant, empty. They were leaving. She was not. "Madam Elene," a client said one afternoon, waving her phone, "you don't see this TikTok trend. Them say if your nail tech no dey talk while doing your hand, she dey vex for you. Oh. Elene smiled faintly. Maybe she just tired. The woman laughed, not noticing the sadness behind her eyes. When the woman left, Elene stared at her tools, the files, clippers, the bright silver cuticle pushers gleaming under the ring light. She saw her reflection in them. Pale, weak, angry. She began cleaning slowly, wiping each tool like it was a ritual. But the more she walked, the more the pain in her chest grew. Why me? She thought. She had built her life from nothing. She had hustled in the heat, worked 12 hours every day, saved to rent that tiny shop, and now, this. It felt unfair. Cruel. Her anger became her shadow. It followed her everywhere, in her silence, in her smiles, in the way she slammed drawers or ignored calls. Then came the clients she could no longer stand, the ones who complained endlessly, who argued about prices, who treated her like a servant instead of a human. I beg, no use cheap polish again, oh, one said, snapping her fingers. Last time I peel after 2 days. No you cause Elene froze. Her hands trembled slightly as she replied, no worry. You go like this time. But her mind whispered something darker. A whisper she fought to silence. That evening, she locked up early and sat alone in the dim salon, staring at her tools again. The same tools that had built her career, her freedom, her fame. She thought of how one mistake, one accident, had taken everything away from her. And for the first time, a cruel thought crept in, if life could take from me so easily, maybe I can take something back. She didn't mean to act on it. Not at first. It began with neglect, forgetting to sanitize properly, rushing through cleanup, leaving tools unsterilized overnight. But over time, something inside her hardened. Her empathy withered. She convinced herself that the world had already turned its back on her. The whispers began 2 months later. Clients started falling ill. Not seriously at first, headaches, rashes, fevers. Lagos gossip spread like wildfire. Have you noticed? One influencer whispered online. People that go to that Lekki salon always complain of falling sick. Maybe bad luck or juju. Elene pretended not to hear. She kept walking. Her eyes grew darker. And every night, she would sit in the salon's corner and cry silently, hating herself, hating life, hating fate. Then came Tommy. Her younger sister, bright as sunlight, always coming around to help sweep, organize polishes, and chat. Oh, this your client them no dey tire. You go soon become celebrity oh. Elene smiled. I no need fame again, Tommy. I just need peace. But Tommy didn't understand. She was only 23, full of dreams, life, and laughter. She often admired Elene's tools, saying, one day, I go learn this thing. It dey pay well. Elene always warned her softly, no touch my tools, Tommy. Some of them dangerous. You fit injure yourself. Tommy would nod, but her curiosity was bigger than her caution. One Sunday, while Elene was at home resting, Tommy decided to try painting her own nails at the salon. She had seen her sister do it countless times. She cleaned the table, set up the ring light, and opened one of Elene's kits, the same one Elene had stopped using weeks ago. When Elene returned later that evening and found her sister sitting there, smiling proudly with her new set of nails, she froze. Tommy, which tools you use? Oh, just your small pink kit now. I no spoil anything. See now, fine ABI. Elene's heart dropped. The color drained from her face. She snatched the kit off the table, her hands trembling. I tell you never to touch my tools, she screamed, voice shaking. Tommy frowned, startled. Ahoy, what's there? No small thing, Elene. You dey shout like person mad. Elene's eyes filled with tears. You don't understand, Tommy. You don't. But it was already too late. For the first few days, Tommy was fine. She posted pictures of her nails on Instagram, laughing in her stories. I did it myself. My sister go fear. Ellen tried to convince herself it was nothing. She tried to forget. Maybe it was harmless, she thought. Maybe it didn't matter. But deep down, her heart wouldn't stop pounding. 3 weeks later, Tommy started feeling weak. At first, it was just fatigue, the kind everyone in Lagos blamed on stress and bad sleep. But soon, her skin grew pale, her appetite disappeared, and she began to complain about constant pain in her joints. Elene, she whispered one night, lying on the couch, my body they feel strange. Like cold day inside my bones. Elene looked at her, really looked, and felt her stomach twist. The same way it began with her. Tommy, you need go hospital, she said quietly. I go tomorrow, her sister murmured, too tired to argue. But the next morning, she could barely stand. At the hospital, Ellen stood by helplessly as nurses moved her sister from one test to another. The machines beeped, the smell of antiseptic filled the air, and every second felt like punishment. The doctor, the same one who had once spoken those fatal words to her, came out hours later. His face was grim. Ellen. I'm afraid it's serious. Her blood is showing strange anomalies. It looks similar to your condition. Ellen's world collapsed again. Her knees weakened. She held onto the wall to steady herself. No, it can't be. The doctor frowned. Did she come in contact with anything that could be contaminated? Any sharp object, maybe blood exposure? Ellen couldn't speak. Her throat tightened, her hands shook. Memories flashed through her mind, Tommy at the salon, laughing, holding that pink kit. Oh God. She wanted to scream, to confess, to run. But her fear silenced her. She simply nodded weakly and said, I don't know. Days turned into weeks. Tommy's health worsened. The once vibrant girl became a shadow of herself, eyes sunken, voice faint, skin pale as ash. And Ellen watched, consumed by guilt. Every sound of the oxygen machine felt like judgment. Every visit from the doctor was a reminder of what she had done. At night, she sat in the dark corner of her room, whispering to herself. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. I swear I didn't mean it. But she had. Even if she never truly intended to hurt Tommy, she had allowed the darkness to live in her heart for too long, and now it had taken the only person she loved. She started having nightmares. In her dreams, she saw her salon covered in red polish, only it wasn't polish. The client's laughter echoed, twisted, mocking her. When she woke, her hands would be trembling, her body drenched in sweat. The news spread faster than she expected. Someone posted online. The popular Lekki nail tech, the one that always wears gloves, her sister's in hospital. People say it's the same illness that's been affecting her clients. The comments came in waves. I knew it. That salon cursed. Abeg, I go report am to health department. Imagine the wickedness, spreading sickness because you're suffering too. Ellen deleted her social media, but it was too late. The rumors had taken a life of their own. Soon, clients stopped coming. Her salon became empty, silent, the faint smell of nail polish hanging like a ghost. She tried to call old customers, but none picked up. Her landlord served her a warning notice for late rent. The empire she had built with her hands crumbled, piece by piece. Tommy's condition worsened beyond saving. The doctors tried, but her organs began to fail. One night, Ellen sat beside her in the hospital bed, holding her frail hand. Tommy, I'm sorry, she whispered, tears streaming down her face. I'm so sorry. Tommy smiled faintly. For what? Ellen swallowed hard. For everything. You don't deserve this. Her sister's eyes softened. Nobody deserves pain, Elene. Not even you. Those were her last words before her breathing slowed and stopped. Elene screamed, a scream that tore through the quiet hospital ward and down the halls. Nurses rushed in, but it was too late. She fell to her knees beside the bed, clutching her sister's hand, whispering, "It's my fault, it's all my fault." After Tommy's burial, the sky over Lagos felt different. The air was thicker. The city's noise, the horns, the chatter, the chaos, sounded distant, like she was hearing it underwater. Elene went back to her salon the next day. Not because she wanted to work, but because she didn't know where else to go. The signboard that once glowed proudly, Elene's Touch, where beauty lives, now hung loosely by one nail, swaying in the wind. Dust coated the window glass, and cobwebs decorated the corners of the once shiny mirrors. She sat at her work table, staring at her tools, the brushes, clippers, files, drills, laid out neatly, waiting. But she couldn't touch them. Not anymore. Her trembling hands reached for the pink kit, the one Tommy had used. She opened it slowly. The metallic smell hit her like guilt. She dropped it and burst into tears. For hours, she sat there, crying, shaking, whispering her sister's name. "Tommy, I'm sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen." But silence was her only answer. By evening, she heard a knock on the glass door. When she looked up, two men stood outside, one in a black suit, the other wearing a badge. Behind them, a crowd had started to gather. Elene Adebayo, the man with the badge, asked. Her heart sank. "Yes. You're under investigation. Please come with us." The words echoed through her skull. She didn't resist. She didn't speak. She just followed quietly, her hands shaking as the whispers of the crowd surrounded her. Not her. The one way cause harm. God punish wickedness. Someone spat on the ground as she passed. Someone else took a photo. Elene kept her eyes down, feeling each step like a blow. At the police station, she sat in a cold room with white walls that smelled of old paint and fear. The officer dropped a file in front of her. "Miss Elene, several clients have filed complaints. Some were hospitalized after visiting your salon. There's also evidence linking your sister's illness to the same condition." Elene's lips trembled. I didn't mean it." The officer's eyes narrowed. "You didn't mean what?" "I didn't mean for anyone to get hurt," she whispered, tears filling her eyes. "I was angry. I was broken. I stopped caring. But I didn't plan this." The officer leaned back, expression unreadable. "So you admit you were careless?" She nodded weakly. "Yes. Careless with everything, with my life, with others. I thought I was punishing the world, but I was just punishing myself." Her voice cracked. The officer closed the file and sighed. "Elene, negligence that leads to harm is still a crime. I'm sorry." She bowed her head. "I know." When the news broke, Lagos exploded. Her face was everywhere, blogs, Instagram pages, gossip sites. Popular nail tech arrested for endangering clients. Sister of famous stylist dies from mysterious salon infection. Tragedy in Lekki, beauty turned to curse. People commented with anger, others with pity. Some called her a monster. Others said she needed help. But Elene didn't read any of it. She couldn't. In her cell, she sat on the hard bench, staring at the wall. Every sound echoed, the clang of metal doors, the murmurs of other inmates, the hum of distant traffic. At night, she dreamed of her sister again, standing in the salon, smiling, saying, "Nobody deserves pain, Elene. Not even you." She would wake up crying, clutching her chest, whispering, "I'm sorry. Weeks later, her case went to court. The courtroom was cold, filled with flashing cameras and whispers. The prosecutor spoke of negligence, of irresponsibility, of the many people affected by her carelessness. Her lawyer tried to speak of her illness, her despair, her humanity, but no one was listening. When it was her turn to speak, Elene stood weakly, her voice trembling. "I don't expect forgiveness," she said. "I just want people to understand. I wasn't evil. I was lost." When you lose everything, even your reason to live, you can become someone you don't recognize. I wish I had stopped myself. I wish I had asked for help. But now, it's too late. And if punishment will bring peace to the families I hurt, then I accept it. The courtroom was silent for a moment. Even the judges I softened, just slightly. But justice still had to be served. Elene was sentenced to several years in prison for negligence resulting in harm and death. As the guards led her away, flashes from reporters' cameras lit up the hallway like lightning. Outside, the sky was grey, heavy with rain, just like the night it all began. She looked up once, whispering, "Tommy, can you see me?" A single drop of rain fell on her face, mixing with her tears. In prison, the days blurred into one another, cold mornings, tasteless meals, echoing footsteps. But for the first time in years, Elene began to write. She filled pages with her story, not to justify herself, but to warn others. She wrote about pain, loss, and the importance of holding on to empathy, even when the world feels cruel. Sometimes, other inmates would come to her, asking for advice on their hair or nails. She would smile faintly and say, "Wash everything. Always clean. Don't let neglect turn into regret." Her illness progressed slowly. Her hands grew weak, but she kept writing until her fingers could no longer hold the pen. And one morning, when the warden came to check on her, she found Elene sitting by the small window, her notebook open, her eyes closed, at peace for the first time. Her story spread far beyond the prison walls. People read it online, debated it, judged it, but many felt something deeper. They realized it wasn't just a story about a nail tech or a mistake. It was about the thin line between pain and cruelty, between despair and destruction. And on the dusty mirror of her abandoned salon, someone wrote in red polish, "Beauty dies when the heart forgets kindness."